What is up, guys? Wunzy Gaming here, and I'm gonna bring you guys another video here. So this is gonna be me playing on a Frost Mage. Just to let you guys know, I am no expert towards Frost Mage. This Frost Mage is not crazy geared, but I do have some of the new legendaries. I have the full tier from Nighthold on top of the crappy gear that I already had on this Frost Mage. Now, the reason why I'm playing this Frost Mage is because Frost Mage is one of those specs that got a huge touch up in 7.1.5. Tons of changes that we will go over in this video. Not everything, but just the stuff that stood out to me. Now, I'm not claiming that I'm some expert in Frost Mages, guys. It just seems like people on YouTube, they feel like, oh, if they put a video out, they're saying they're an expert. It's not what I'm saying. This is just what I'm noticing. I'm the type of guy that picks a spec usually at the beginning of the expansion, and I usually stick with it. The Mage just so happened to be Frost. Those of you guys that don't know, I have 12 110s, one of each class, and the Mage, I've played Frost since the very beginning. So in 7.1.5, there were a lot of changes that were made. Fingers of Frost no longer is a use effect that grants you, or I'm sorry, Frozen Touch is no longer a use effect that grants you 2 charges of Fingers of Frost. Now, it increases your chances to get Fingers of Frost by 40%. So instead of, I think it's a 12% chance from your Frostbolt, you now have a 52% chance, if I'm reading that correctly, to trigger Fingers of Frost, which I actually think benefits you more. I think you get more Fingers of Frost with the way it is now than the way Frozen Touch was before. On the forums, I saw a lot of Frost Mages complaining about this change in particular, but I actually think this is a very good change, and I think we're seeing a lot more procs than before. Now, the change to our artifact weapon, the ability being Ebon Bolt, I am not a huge fan of. Before, it did less damage, but you got two procs of your Fingers of Frost. The Fingers of Frost is no longer there, but it does more damage. I don't feel like it was busted where they needed to change it. To me, I don't know. It doesn't feel right. I still feel like it should grant you the Fingers of Frost. I don't feel like it would be that broken at all. Now, again, I am still experimenting. This is just something that I'm looking at playing a lot more in 7.1.5, just because I've always loved Frost Mage, and it just looks like it's getting some love. Even though a lot of people are complaining about it on the forums, I feel like if you dig a little deeper and you look at it in an unbiased way, you can kind of see that there is some gold there, and I really enjoy the playstyle of Frost. Just to go back on the Ebon Bolt thing too, they took the Fingers of Frost away from it, but it also triggers Brain Freeze for like 10 seconds or whatever it is. So they did add that to it as well. Now, again, I am not saying I'm an expert at Frost. My character is not very geared. And in this instance, I am playing with the legendary trinket, the new legendary trinket. I've been wanting to get some stick time with this trinket for a while, and I feel like it's not as good as people think it is, but it is still pretty freaking awesome. But it's not. When I first read the trinket on the new trinkets on the surface, I was like, holy cow, these things are going to be insane. They're going to be nuts, but they're really actually not that crazy. They're actually tuned very well in my opinion. As far as what I'm seeing with Frost, as far as the rotation goes, the opening is pretty much the way it is now in live. You're going with your Rune of Power, you're opening up, you got your Heroism, and you got all that stuff. You want to hit your Icy Veins. I forgot to hit my Icy Veins at the beginning of this one. And then you pretty much want to keep Frost Bomb up on your target at all times, because I feel like you're proccing your Fingers of Frost a lot more often now. Now, in live, it's not as imperative to keep your Frost Bomb on the target, because you can kind of control when you're getting your Fingers of Frost procs. But with the new update, your Fingers of Frost is kind of proccing at all times. Now, of course, there are times where it's okay to have your Frost Bomb down, if you're not anticipating Fingers of Frost. But if your Frozen Orb is close to coming off cooldown or is off cooldown, get your Frost Bomb up. If you're getting ready for your Water Elemental's ability to give you your Fingers of Frost, make sure your Frost Bomb is up. All that kind of stuff, and that's all just basic stuff. Now, as far as like the new legendary goes, it's called the Frozen Time or something like that. I totally forgot the name of it. It is a shoulder that what it does is your Frozen Orb now, upon its expiring, when it's done doing its damage, it'll explode, dealing 1200% spell power to, I believe, everything around it. It's like within an 8-yard radius or something like that. Pretty freaking awesome for Mythic Pluses, guys. Another big change that I noticed, but onto that, I don't know how well it's going to be in single target, but I feel like that legendary is going to be a Mythic Plus all-star for Frost Mages. Now, a big change for us too, and this goes to the AoE portion, is Blizzard. Each time Blizzard deals damage, it increases the cooldown of Frozen Orb by 0.5 seconds. Another great thing for Mythic Pluses. So Frost Mages are kind of getting this really nice cleave update that I'm really liking. It's going to look like they can actually do a lot of work in Mythic Pluses themselves. The other legendary that I'm going to be testing on the PTR besides the trinket is going to be the bracers, the one that enables you to empower your ice lances. I feel like that's just still going to be like a very powerful legendary. I don't know if it's going to, this trinket, you know, I can't really get a good read on it. I don't know if this trinket crits. I've been at, a couple of you guys DM'd me on Twitter saying, hey man, can that trinket crit? Have you seen it crit yet? I have not personally seen the new trinket crit yet. I have played with it on my hunter, and I've played with it on this mage so far on the PTR, and I have not seen it crit yet. However, cool thing about hunter, and I'm going to talk about this on my BM hunter video as well, is if you cast Bestial Wrath and then use the trinket, the trinket hits for like 2 mil. The Bestial Wrath damage effect of, you know, it takes effect into that, so obviously versatility and all that stuff will also take effect onto that trinket as well. But as far as like the Frost Mage changes go, I think it's awesome. I think it's gonna, I think that we're proccing Fingers of Frost a lot more often now, and you know, just to put it into perspective, like this, I'm no, like I said, I'm no expert at Frost, and I'm still learning the rotation. I don't even have my 3rd relic slot on this mage yet, for crying out loud. I'm very close. But once all that happens, I cannot wait to play this class anymore. If you guys had any suggestions, feel free to comment them down below. Anybody that also plays Frost Mage a little bit more and it's like, hey, maybe you should try this spec, you might see a little more output, feel free to let me know. I am still getting my gear put together and everything on this character. Like I said, now that I'm done leveling all the 12 classes, I can kind of focus on gearing. So I want to thank you guys for watching this video. Hope you guys have an excellent day, and I will catch you guys at the next video where I'm going to break down and test these legendaries.